A while back, Xiaomi entered India and changed the game totally. They offered great products at never before seen prices. But times have changed and Indian brands have had time to react, and one such reaction is the Micromax spin-off You. So today let's take a look at budget offerings from both me and you and see if you can beat me at their own game. But before we get to that, if this is your first time here, or in case the whole me and you things got you all confused, my name's Ash, this is C4E Tech, and you're watching my comparison of the Xiaomi Redmi 2 with the You Euphoria. Let's get started. Let's start with the built-in design. Owing to the use of a smaller display, the Redmi 2 is the more compact of the two. It's narrower, shorter, but the Euphoria manages to remain ever so slightly slimmer. When it comes to the materials used, both Xiaomi and You have gone with different strategies. The Euphoria uses a metal frame with a replaceable plastic back, while the Redmi 2 opts for an all polycarbonate build with a removable back as well. So overall, the built-in design boils down to personal preference. Me personally, I prefer the more compact Redmi 2 here. I feel the matte back looks better, but again, keep in mind this is just my preference. Now, both devices sport 720p IPS displays, a Gorilla Glass 3 covered 5-inch display on the Euphoria compared to a Gorilla Glass 2 covered 4.7-inch display on the Redmi 2. That's a pixel density of 312 pixels per inch compared to 294. Anyway, both displays are reasonably sharp, and for media consumption, you aren't gonna have any issues with either phone. But that being said, the display on the Redmi 2 is more color accurate. The one on the Euphoria is a bit too warm in my honest opinion. Again, when it comes to viewing angles, the Redmi 2 manages to edge ahead, and the Redmi 2 is also brighter, meaning it's better visible outdoors. Anyway, moving on, let's now talk about the specs underneath. Both phones are powered by a Snapdragon 410 chip. That's 4 Cortex A53 cores clocked at 1.2 GHz each with an Adreno 306 GPU. The Redmi 2 sold in India has 8 gigs of onboard storage and 1 gig of RAM, while the Euphoria has double that with 16 gigs of onboard storage and 2 gigs of RAM. And that is reflected in the benchmarks as well. With real-time intensive scenarios like gaming, both devices performed quite similarly though. With regards to audio via the rear speaker, the Redmi 2 is louder, call quality is quite good with both devices, and both sport 2 SIM card slots both capable of supporting 4G LTE. When it comes to audio via the 3.5mm headphone jack though, the Euphoria isn't that good, the Redmi 2 is much better. Anyway, now let's move on to the cameras. Both phones sport 8 megapixel rear cameras. The Euphoria shoots decent images, but the Redmi 2 does much better here. Has better dynamic range, the processing's a lot better. The images have a bit more detail as well. Under low light, the Redmi 2 still manages to stay ahead. But when it comes to video, surprisingly the Euphoria pulled ahead. 1080p video was much cleaner and sharper with the Euphoria, and again the 5 megapixel front facing camera on the Euphoria managed to produce better selfies than the 2 megapixel front facing shooter on the Redmi 2. With regards to the camera interface, the one on the Euphoria is a little simpler, making it easier to shoot, while the one on the Redmi 2 provides a bit more control, more options. At the end of the day, both are quite efficient and the UI is not going to be a deciding factor here. Moving on to batteries, both phones have replaceable batteries, the Redmi 2 a 2200 mAh battery and the Euphoria a 2230 mAh battery. But despite what the numbers might indicate, the Redmi 2 again performs better here. On a looping video playback test, the Redmi 2 lasted a little over 9 hours before running out of juice compared to the Euphoria that lasted about a half hour lesser. With day-to-day usage scenarios, while both phones did get me through a day on a single charge with moderate usage, the Redmi 2 did end the day with more juice left. Anyway, with that, we get to the software now. While the Euphoria is currently running on Android 5.0 Lollipop with Cyanogen OS 12 on top, the Redmi 2 is still on Android 4.4 KitKat with Xiaomi's own MIUI 6 on top. It is worth noting that Xiaomi's MIUI is a pretty heavy interface, meaning even with Xiaomi phones like the Mi 4i, which has MIUI 6 on top of Android 5.0 Lollipop, you don't really notice any difference. Anyway, coming back, both Cyanogen and MIUI are pretty customizable. Both offer support for themes so that you can customize the look and feel of your device. Xiaomi has a pretty robust themes app and offers the ability to mix and match themes to create your own unique identity. And Cyanogen provides similar functionality with the app themer, again letting you use different themes for different aspects of the interface. Apart from that, Cyanogen also has its own theme store to choose from a long list of themes. The Redmi 2 has a security app built in that provides you a lot of control over each and every aspect of the interface. For example, you can control what an app can or cannot access at a per app level. It's also worth noting that CyanogenOS 12 on the Euphoria has a few quirks like the proximity sensor issue we talked about in the review. But that being said, here's where the extra gig of RAM comes into play. Cyanogen on the Euphoria is much faster and snappier than MIUI 6 on the Redmi 2. The Euphoria with the extra RAM doesn't have to kill background apps quite as aggressively as the Redmi 2, meaning the multitasking experience is much better on the Euphoria. Overall, the Euphoria does feel a lot snappier, apps open up faster, the scrolling smoother, the overall UI feels more fluid and responsive than MIUI 6 on the Redmi 2. And with that, we get to the price, and both the Euphoria and the Redmi 2 are priced similarly at 6,999 rupees. So, which one should you get? In my honest opinion, if display quality, audio via the earphones and still photography are very important to you, then I can see why you'd want to go with the Redmi 2. If Xiaomi has plans of bringing in a Redmi 2 with 2 gigs of RAM, this is the time. I really wish they'd do that soon. Because till then, me personally, I'd go with the Euphoria, because at the end of the day, the user experience, the overall speed of the UI, how fast the apps open, how quick the UI responds are things that I value more in a phone. But then again, that's just me though. What do you think? Me or you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So I guess that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you found it useful. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't, vote it down. If you have any constructive criticism, let me know in the comments below. Feedback's always welcome. And do subscribe if you haven't already. So by the way guys, if you do want to help the channel out, please consider changing your Flipkart or Amazon links to the ones with our affiliate code. The links can be found in the description below under where to buy. And so I guess that's it for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this is Ash here from C4E Tech signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye bye now.